I'm one of the only people in this world that has played both Sonic Racing Crossroads and Mario Kart World early. With Sonic, I was granted access to the game's beta test and played it over an entire weekend. Meanwhile, with Mario Kart World, I got the amazing opportunity to go to the Nintendo Switch 2 experience and get hands-on experience on that game for over an hour. A reluctant shout out to Dimitri for bringing me along. I mean, that was actually kind of an awesome time. But me having played the two major kart racing titles coming out this year, what did I think of both of them? And ultimately, did I think one was better than the other? Conventionally attractive humans, my name is RidersDX. Welcome to my channel, where today I'm going to answer those very spicy questions right now. I am a red hot chili pepper after all. A side note is I actually tried recording this video yesterday and I listened back to the audio and I was absolutely horrified because I have these canker sores in my mouth right now. Unfortunately, it's a somewhat regular occurrence for me, and you never know where they're going to attack. You know, they could be like harmless little things in the back of your throat, but at other times it could be right here, front line and center, and it is absolute pain and torture to do any kind of speaking or any kind of like social thing with these in your mouth. So, I just felt it right there. So bear with me if I sound like, I don't know, like mud or like desert, or I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now. Maybe like smushed ice cream or something. If I sound like that, then you know why. So how this video is gonna be structured is we're gonna go do both games individually. So I kind of talk about like my general opinions and overview of my experiences with them. And then we're gonna come back together and talk about both games together to ultimately deduce which one did I personally prefer in terms of the experience, because my opinion is important. I mean, you're here, right? So that means my opinion is important. So I'll start with Sonic Racing Crossroads because I really should put this out here in the forefront because I am a moral like person. I do find it important to like be fair about these things. So I should address the fact that yes, I am a Sonic fan. I'm a much bigger fan of Sonic than I am Mario. And I also got way more time playing Sonic Racing Crossroads than Mario Kart World. So there's a lot of things going into this video that I need to like kind of keep in mind because I have a better firm understanding of what Sonic Racing Crossroads is trying to do here. Meanwhile, Mario Kart World, I definitely need some more time of it to ultimately deduce like what I think about it. I obviously am rooting for Sonic here. I want Sonic to have the superior kart racing title, especially considering the fact that Mario is kind of superior objectively in pretty much every other aspect. So if Sonic can have just like one little thing, that would be great. Well, with that being said, in terms of Sonic racing games, while I do enjoy the kart racing titles, the Sonic racing games I actually enjoy the most are the Riders games. I mean, RidersDX. Do I really have to say it? I actually have to do it for some people, you know. I won't name names, but Riders is the series that I go absolutely feral for. You know, if they ever came out with Sonic Riders 4, I would be first in line to get that bad boy. But I've always found Sonic's kart racing titles fun. But in the grand scheme of things, there's never really been a kart racing game that's had so much to it that I would immediately choose that over a Mario Kart game. Because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, for instance, is such a palpable game that anyone that has any like awareness of what video games are knows what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is. And so in a casual setting when I'm trying to like get people to play games that don't necessarily play it all the time, Mario Kart 8 is an easy game to go into. And the closest game I could think of with Sonic kart racing games is Sonic Racing Transformed. But even now, that game is stuck on a previous generation, so I'm not often like vying for that game compared to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But with Sonic Racing Crossroads, it is already shaping up to be the best kart racing game that Sonic has ever had. And yes, even better than Sonic Drift. A smart thing about Crossroads is that it doesn't necessarily try to reinvent the wheel. It still takes all its mechanics from the previous racing games. In fact, it definitely has a similar feel to Team Sonic Racing, the most recent racing game to come out of Sonic. It also brings back the transform mechanic from Sonic Racing Transformed, and that was a really great move because obviously Transformed is the highest well-received Sonic racing game ever, and that was in particular the main feature that really made people excited for that game. So to see it come back here as just one of the features of this game is pretty awesome. But beyond that, this game also introduces a lot of new things that make it very, very interesting. Obviously, the big thing here with Sonic Racing Crossroads is the Crossroads aspect of it all. The big gimmick of Sonic Racing Crossroads is the fact that when you get to the second lap, you will be transported to a completely different track from the track you selected. And it's not predetermined before you enter the track. And so every single time you race through one of these racing tracks, you have no idea what that second lap is going to entail. So on top of the fact that like racing games in general can be unpredictable depending on who you're playing with, there's also this factor of unpredictability being added on top of it to make every single race unique in its own way. And I have to say, playing through this game throughout that weekend, I was always very excited to see what race I was going to be playing and what track I was going to be transported to during lap 2 in particular, because it made things exciting, fresh, spontaneous, and overall just like a very innovative and stimulating experience. And that's the thing about Sonic that like people really love about him, is that there's always so much going on. And it's not for everyone. I will say that it's not for everyone, but with people that really do love Sonic, there's always so much hitting you like at every single millisecond because of how fast Sonic games are by their nature. And Sonic Racing Crossworlds really lives up to that reputation. I felt like every single race I played in Sonic Racing Crossworlds was unpredictable, crazy, spontaneous, and just a wild event overall. Like it was absolutely crazy. And I think something about Crossroads I really took from it coming off of the beta experience is that it is a chaotic racing experience. Sometimes to its own detriment, because sometimes it would get so insane that, you know, you would glitch out a game or you would disconnect from the lobby or things like that. So that's like the negative side of that, of being too chaotic, is that the game literally implodes upon itself. But overall, I was looking forward to playing Crossroads each time I played it, because I thought that each experience that I had with the game was unpredictable and I learned something new from it. And it just was like, it's a game I want to genuinely play more of. It's something I genuinely want to get better at, because seeing like how crazy the game can get, you're literally like pushing into people like all the time. Like it is literally like kart racing on steroids. It is a chaotic experience. It's really hard to like describe it. The game is just so crazy and just so outrageous, and I think if anything the game needs to rein it in a little bit, especially with the item balance in particular. People are like throwing items like all the time during these races that you really start to lose control of what's actually going on, and that can actually frustrate a lot of people. And to me, it definitely makes this game a little bit more difficult to just like casually get into compared to a typical kart racer. So that's kind of like my main feedback when it comes to Crossworlds, is that it's chaotic, but it's a little too chaotic. So ring it in a little bit, make it a little bit more controlled just so it's a more polished experience. But overall, that's what I took a lot from Crossworlds, is that it is obviously going to be the biggest and most ambitious Sonic racing game to date. And also, it's trying to do so many things and make it like the most like interesting kart racing experience you've ever played. And I'm all for it. I'm really excited for this. And the fact we have Extreme Gear coming back into this game as well, I mean, like the sky is the limit. Like who knows what this game can bring to the table. So I really do like implore people that have experience at kart racers to try out this game, because I think it's gonna offer a lot of different things that you can't find in like any other kart racer. Shirts off. Sexy. So now we're going to talk about Mario Kart World. And so first of all, what an amazing opportunity it was to go to Nintendo Switch 2 experience. Again, like I have to give it to him. Dimitri, thank you for like letting me come along with you. So Dimitri actually got selected for the event, but they let me tag along with him. So I got to play like all the other games in there as well with Dimitri. And Mario Kart World is obviously like the one we spent the most time on. The way that the experience was set up is that you basically got to play a few races between the two of you first, and then afterwards you got to play a knockout tour with everyone in the room. And it was like such an electrifying experience to be in there with so many people that were excited for like Mario Kart. And I just was like, everything was kind of primed for me to have like a nice experience in Mario Kart World. And honestly, this game needs it. This game really needs that, because whew, the amount of bad press this game has been getting since that initial Nintendo Switch 2 presentation is baffling to me. Like, it's crazy. I would have never really expected it. You have to remember, Mario Kart World is the first proper Mario Kart game in I think like a decade now. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, remember, came out on the Wii U originally and then got expanded upon itself on the Switch, and now is finally being followed up by a proper successor. So the hype behind Mario Kart World was astronomical. They really didn't need to do much to get people excited for this game. People have been dying for new Mario Kart for a long time now, and so they really would have had to fumble the bag to get people to not be excited about this game. But you know you know, capitalists, you know, greedy little companies, Nintendo just had to do it. So the review was official that Mario Kart World while it would be a launch title with Nintendo Switch 2, if you wanted to buy it by itself, it would be priced at $80 in the retail setting, US dollars. And that has taken over the conversation when it comes to Mario Kart World. It's not about the new features that they're putting in. It's not about the new character designs they have. It's not about all the tracks being included in it. It is about the price tag. And it is unfortunate because I feel like Mario Kart World was a game that so many people were looking forward to, Dimitri included. Dimitri was really excited about Mario Kart World. And the prices just kind of soured the experience overall, and just not just the Switch 2, but Mario Kart as well. And it is absolutely like, it's just a weird thing to be witnessing, to be honest. It reminds me so much of that fiasco between the PS4 and Xbox One, when Xbox One tried to like outlaw, basically eliminate the use of used games. Like, this is giving that same kind of energy. So I will say, as a result, going into Mario Kart World, you can't help but have ceiling high expectations that you're just expecting to be failed, because it's $80. So it should be like the biggest and bestest game to ever come out, right? Because no one else is pricing their games at $80, the normal retail price of games. No one else is doing $80. Nintendo is breaking that barrier. So Mario Kart World had better be the best racing game experience that you have ever had. And was it? No, it wasn't. But like, that is such an unrealistic expectation to be putting upon Mario Kart World or any Mario Kart game. It is just not that game that is going to give you that kind of experience. It is not that game. I only played Mario Kart World for like an hour's tops, and honestly, it is exactly what I expected. It is just a normal Mario Kart experience. Now, granted, I didn't get to experience the things like the open world segment, for instance, and I'm sure that would be a very interesting thing to play through. But the game itself, it's just Mario Kart. If I'm being totally honest here, as someone who's like a very casual Mario Kart enjoyer, I really couldn't tell the difference between this game and Mario Kart 8 in terms of the mechanics and stuff. You would have to like talk to someone that like was much more familiar with Mario Kart to like really get a sense of whether this game is a huge significant improvement from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But to me, while it is like a more smooth performance overall, I mean, the game looks great. I love how like wacky the character designs look now. I think the game looks fantastic, and it definitely has a lot of good things going for it. But is it enough to justify the $80 price tag? No, it's not. It isn't. And I'm very doubtful that like the open world stuff is going to make up for that, because so far it is just a Mario Kart game. And you know what? That's what people wanted. People just wanted a regular old good Mario Kart game. That would have been enough to get people excited to buy this console in droves, and it would have been enough to get Nintendo past that. Like, people were excited for a brand new Mario Kart. It really did not have to do much to like really win the interest of everyone. But unfortunately, that price tag has set an unfortunate situation for this game. And now to me, instead of being like a solid improvement from Mario Kart 8, it looks like a Mario Kart game that cannot live up to the expectations that an $80 price tag places upon it. I cannot for the life of me like actually pinpoint what it is about this experience that is that different from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, there just isn't enough here being shown off that will make this a significant improvement upon the previous game. And I'm just like, I'll get it, obviously, because if I get like the Nintendo Switch 2 bundle, for instance, and it'll come with Mario Kart World, so obviously if I get it, then I'll try it out. But I'm in no real rush to try out this game. Like, it is what it is. It's just a regular old Mario Kart experience, and there's nothing really else to it. If you like Mario Kart, then you will like this game. But do you like it enough to get it for $80? The question remains to be seen, I guess. Like I said, I only had like an hour tops of this game, so it is a bit of an unfair comparison I'm making here compared to the long time I got to play with Sonic Racing Crossworlds. But nonetheless, it did not grab me in that first hour. It grabbed me enough to the point where I was like, okay, this is a nice solid design game, but that's about it. And I guess we'll head into the comparison now, because to me, even though these are both kart racers, they both occupy very different purposes in the kart racing genre, which is great. That's what I wanted. I wanted them to occupy different spaces. That's the only way that these two games are going to be able to coexist. Like I mentioned before, Sonic Racing Crossroads feels like the chaotic sibling here. It's so like random and out of this world, and just like you don't know what's going on half the time when you're playing Crossworlds. And while it can be exciting, it can also be frustrating, especially for people that like are not as used to like the racing genre experience. And so I feel like Sonic Crossworlds is like a really good game to get into if you want something more with your racing game. If you want something a little bit beyond the typical like hold A to accelerate, press the trigger buttons to drift and stuff. If you want a little bit more, then Sonic Racing Crossworlds is going to give that to you. Mario Kart World, it does have some like interesting features going into it and a lot of like cool new things coming in, but ultimately the experience feels very Mario Kart-esque. It's not that different from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as far as I can tell. But if that's what you want, then that's totally fine. Like, the game is there for you. And honestly, Mario Kart World has that spot in the Nintendo Switch 2 library to be that game for like casual gamers to get into. If I'm in like a party with my friends and stuff and we want to play like a video game, then I'm going to choose Mario Kart World over Sonic Racing Crossroads, because Crossroads just has a lot more to it that you just have to like be more experienced at kart races to really be able to enjoy that one, because it's just really chaotic and it really needs to be reined in a little bit if they want to like make it more palpable to casual gamers. But Mario Kart World, it is perfect for casual gamers. People are going to love it, you know? So that is what I truly think about these two games. They just occupy two very different spaces when it comes to a kart racer, and I think that's great. I think it's great. My personal preference, you can't tell, is obviously Crossworlds. I think Crossworlds just has a lot more going for it that I find to be exciting. Like, not on top of the fact that the gameplay mechanics are so chaotic and so out there and just like exciting to me. The Extreme Gear coming back to Crossworlds, I mean, like, that's just unbeatable for me. Crossroads is going to be like the racing game for me, and that's just it, you know? I like something a little spicier. I like something a little bit more interesting and dynamic, and Crossroads is gonna offer that to me. But that's not to dunk on Mario Kart World. Like, Mario Kart World is still going to be the biggest and most expansive Mario Kart experience to date, and I think if you are a fan of Mario Kart, then you are going to love Mario Kart World, and that's that. So I think it's fine as a game. I just think that the $80 price tag is really doing it in, and it's a shame because I think it's a very solidly developed game, and the developers are taking a lot of criticism, unfortunately, despite the fact that obviously it is not their fault. It is the big old Nintendo corporation's fault, and that's all there is to it. Regardless, both titles look very solid, and I will be picking up both at some point. Crossroads is definitely a day one purchase for me. Mario Kart World, I mean, it actually depends if I can even get a Switch 2 at launch, to be honest, because that is starting to look questionable. So we will have to see. But anyway, let me know what you think about these two games in the comment section below, and especially if you actually played both of these games like I have, then let me know your opinion, because I'd be really curious to hear from you. But overall, I think both games are very solid and fun in their own ways, and whichever game you prefer honestly depends on what you're looking for. And as someone who plays a lot of racers, I am looking for something a little more interesting and exciting, and I think Crossworlds is going to offer that for me. Plus the fact I'm a Sonic fan, so I mean, it is what it is. I played lots of games with the Switch 2 experience actually, so if there's anything from that experience you want me to talk about, then let me know in the comment section, and be sure to subscribe to this channel if you want to keep up to date with what I'm talking about. I'm probably gonna do like an update video at some point, you know, maybe even this week if I'm feeling up to it. Like, I just feel like it's been a long time since I've actually like really properly sat down and talked about what's been going on, and I'm kind of in the mood to do that. So yeah, there we go. All right, y'all, thank you so much. This is Riders, riding out.